The scenario is based on the topic of desertification. Her fellow scenario writing participant, Jubilee, will read Lauren's scenario along with her, whilst Tiffany works the slides.
The strong winds of the desert air beat down on my weathered face. My family and I live in Luxor, surrounded by desert. Only 1% of Egypt's land is agriculturally productive, where the rich live. The rest of us, the poor, live in dry lands, where ground is devoid of moisture. Desolate, arid, dry. Illnesses commonly strike us, this terror of the desert resonating through our hearts. I live with my father and 5 siblings. Since my mother passed on years ago, we rely solely on my widowed father as our rock and provider. Tonight's air is cooler than normal. The clouds parted at nightfall to reveal a sky littered with stars. Gazing up at its loveliness, I allowed the darkness to envelope me.
Forward message, read Dust Bowl Alexa. 17th June 2051, Thursday. To Dr. Smith, Government Representative of the Science Department of Lexa. From Superintendent Maxwell, Government Representative of the Egyptian Navy. Report, Dust Bowl in Lexa, Egypt. We have received reports of a second dust bowl in Egypt, resulting from desertification. The destruction of the ecosystem has taken its toll on Egypt's deserts. Dust clouds are rising from Lexa, causing massive pollution in the air. As the land continues to degrade into sand, we expect more frequent dust bowls to occur. A group of scientists from Israel have applied to us to test their theory that desertification can be eliminated by bacteria using a 3,000-kilometer wall of solidified sandstone. Let's hope they succeed. Sincerely, Superintendent Maxwell.
I open my blurry eyes and blink, trying to clear the grogginess from my mind. It is already the wee hours of the morning, and I am to help make breakfast for the family. Standing up, I was overcome by sadness. The dust bowl destroyed it all, smashing our house to smithereens and leaving nothing unscathed. Some villagers barely escaped with their lives. Blessed, my family escaped with minor injuries. I hear shouts, and the whirring of blades fill my ears. Father looks up and nudges me with alarm. I direct my gaze up and gasp. Helicopters. The sky is teeming with them. I stare in awe, having never seen one till now. Slowly, they begin to descend. Such a sight to behold. The first helicopter lands. The blades stop whirring with a hiss. A woman climbs out. She wears a metallic-looking suit. After her, 2 men follow, carrying huge metal crates labeled bacteria. They are dressed in lab coats. She walks with an air of confidence and speaks into a glass screen she holds in front of her with a man's image on it. Her gaze lands on me and she hurries over. Hello, who are you? I ask curiously.
Dr. Julia Smith, I understand your village has just been hit by a dust bowl? She replies, all businesslike.
Yes, I responded cautiously. What does she want?
We have heard about your agony and would like to help. 50 years ago, our colleague, Master Dr. Magnus Larsen, came up with an ingenious idea to use Bacillus pastori, a microorganism that can solidify loose sand to create a wall of sandstone to shield you from the sandstorms. Since then, we have advanced his research and finally have a solution to stop desertification and to prevent repeat harm, Dr. Smith explains.
I nod.
Report on Lexa Project Vessel Desertification. Succeeded in evacuating villagers from the village. Provided villagers with water and food. Project targeted for completion in a week. Sincerely, Dr. Julia Smith.
We set up camp with the scientists and the rest of the village, pitching our tents a few kilometers from our village. The first night was unbearable. I missed my bed and groaned at lying on the hard floor. Father observes the scientists at work while my siblings engage in simple play. I join him. They are almost finished with the wall, he murmurs. We watch one of them press a button on a controller of sorts. The robot next to it takes out a vial of murky brown liquid and pours it into a syringe before injecting it into the wall and pressing a layer of sand over it. The sand hardens right before our eyes. I watch in fascination. And within a few days, it is done. Finally, the wall is complete. Within minutes of hearing this news, I am packed and ready to go. My family and I trudge back to the village. Upon setting eyes on our new home, Haley, my younger sister, drew a sharp intake of breath. In parallel, my father exclaims, "Wow," in admiration. Stepping into the village, my eager gaze fell on a table, on top which sat a wooden crate labeled Desertified Immunization. I inched closer to the beckoning box. It was full of syringes containing reddish-brownish liquid, reminding me of the colors of the sand wall and desert dunes surrounding us. I heard Father calling for me, and I ran over to where the villagers gathered. Dr. Julia Smith addressed us.
For your safety and protection, the government officials have decided to inject you with this cure that we have created. It will help improve your chances of surviving this desert, she explains. A few of the older villagers start to nod, convinced by her words. We will ensure all is well prior to our departure. Please stand in line and we'll get right on it.
She smiles encouragingly at us. We patiently wait for the scientists to do the immunization. It was quickly my turn and I get my arm swabbed with alcohol and feel the tiniest prick in my arm. I look down and see the needle being slowly retracted into the arm of the robot. The scientist sitting behind the robot smiles at me. I smile back and thank them. That night, as I lay down on my bed, I peer out the window at the sand wall and, knowing it will protect us from sandstorms, I relaxed and drifted to sleep.
Dear Dr. Smith, we have received word that you have finished with your experiment of the cure elixir. Congratulations! Did it truly strengthen the muscles and brain like it was supposed to do? If it works, this will benefit the villagers greatly. I had a worker come and report the villagers' reactions, and they did not seem to suspect a thing. The cover-up also might benefit them, as the wall should shelter the villagers from future sandstorms. Do let me know if we can be of any assistance to you. We eagerly await your good news. Sincerely, Superintendent Maxwell.
Jolted up by screaming from my neighbors, I leap out of bed and run to the window. My vision shocked my very core. Mr. Edwards looked like he was being electrocuted. Spasms racked his body and his shudders were felt through the thin adjacent walls of his and my house. What is happening? His face is going pale. I can't watch this. I run out of the house to help. Father restrains me and warns me not to interfere. How can I just stop and watch as my neighbor suffers? However, I am forced to do exactly that. I watch in dread as the inevitable happens. After an excruciatingly long minute, his body finally goes still. He stops trembling. In tears, the stunned Mrs. Edwards checks for a pulse. She looks up, weeping. There is none. His 6-year-old son returns from playing with his friends. He stops dead in his tracks, and I see him realize what has happened whilst he was away. Silently mourning the loss of his father, he falls to his knees. I turn and leave.
28th June 2051, Monday. Report on desertified illness. We have received reports that soon after we repaired one of the villagers in Lexa, a sudden and unexpected death occurred. The victim, Mr. Edwards, was in the pink of health till hit by sudden spasms, tearing through his body and resulting in his death. We will take possession of Mr. Edwards' body so that we can investigate this matter. Sincerely, Superintendent Maxwell. Dear Superintendent Maxwell, I have received your report on this strange illness and had a few of my fellow scientists return to the village and extract the body. When we autopsied it, we found nothing that resembles a human's internal organs. Instead, we found taut muscles and swollen internal organs. Given that the immunization was only meant to strengthen the muscles and brain, it seems to have achieved other undesirable side effects. My team of scientists have moved this up the priority list and are now conducting tests to solve this. If you have more information, please do not hesitate to contact me. Sincerely, Dr. Julia Smith.
It happened again, yesterday. This time to Mrs. Jackson, thrashing around, tormented to death, just like Mr. Edwards, but only worse. In the midst of it, her son, Justin, ran to her to try to help and soothe her. The moment he touched her, he too developed spasms, and within minutes, they were both dead. I feel a sense of foreboding. Queasiness overtakes me. Immobilized, I'm getting stiffer by the second. I try to open my mouth to scream, but nothing comes out. Help! I feel my insides churning and changing. Sand was taking over. I fall. My vision goes black, and darkness surrounds me. Spasms overcoming me. I shake. I can't stop myself. I struggle to take my last deep breath. Then, I let go.